Michael Jordan sees a kid playing alone with a torn basketball and remembers his hardest Christmas. The streets were empty. Frost clung to the sidewalks like dust from another world. Christmas lights blinked behind dark windows, half-hearted in their glow. Michael Jordan drove slowly through the old neighborhood, the one that felt both familiar and foreign now. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was supposed to be across town, smiling for photos at some high-end charity gala, dressed in a suit that cost more than his first car. But the noise, the surface-level conversations, the fake laughs, it all felt empty. So he left. Now, the hum of the heater filled his luxury SUV as he coasted past the cracked pavement of a public park. He barely glanced at it until he saw the kid. One boy. Alone. On a frozen court. The kid couldn't have been more than 10 or 11. Thin frame. Jacket too big. Hood pulled up. He bounced a worn-out basketball that looked like it had survived a war. Each dribble sounded hollow, like the ball was more air than leather. But the boy kept going. Dribble, crossover, pull-up jumper, miss. He chased the ball, reset. Again. Dribble, crossover, spin, miss. Jordan watched longer than he meant to. The boy's rhythm was familiar. Too familiar. He was mimicking something. Footwork. Posture. Movement. Then it hit him. He was copying him. MJ pulled the car over. Engine still running, he leaned forward, hands gripping the wheel. Memories started crawling in through the cracks of the moment. He didn't want them. But they came anyway. One Christmas. One court. One frozen night that nearly broke him. He saw himself, age 13. Alone on a broken slab of concrete behind his family's house. The rim didn't have a net. The ball he had was underinflated. His breath came out in angry clouds. He had been cut from the team that week, told he didn't have the height, the strength, the toughness. That night, his family didn't notice when he slipped out. They were inside, warm and distracted. He was outside, desperate to prove them wrong. Every missed shot felt like another reason to quit. Every gust of wind told him to go back inside. But something held him there. Not hope. Just pride. Stubborn, furious pride. He wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing him break. Back in the present, the kid on the court missed again. He groaned, kicked at the ball. Then picked it up and tried again. Jordan watched his feet. The angles. The pivot. The follow-through. The kid had no training. No coach. But he had fire. The kind you didn't teach. Jordan sat back. Let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. Then he opened the door. Cold hit him immediately, stinging his face and hands. He shut the car off and started walking toward the court. The kid didn't notice until Jordan was almost at the sideline. When he did, he froze. Eyes wide. Hands clutched the ball tight. You always play out here alone? Jordan asked casually. The kid didn't respond. He stared like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. I'm not here to bother you, Jordan said. Just saw you working. Respect it. Still no answer. Just heavy breathing and wide eyes. What's your name? Jordan asked. The boy swallowed. Darius. How old are you? 10. Jordan nodded. You love the game? Darius hesitated, then looked down at the ball. It's all I got. That sentence hit harder than Jordan expected. He looked at the ball in Darius's hands. The seams were cracked. The grip was gone. It barely bounced right. Mind if I take a shot? Jordan asked. The boy hesitated. Then held out the ball. MJ took it, testing the weight. It was as bad as it looked. Still, he lined up at the free throw line. One breath. One flick. Swish. Darius blinked. You're him, he said finally. You're really him. Jordan smiled slightly. Not bad for an old man, huh? The boy laughed nervously. Jordan handed the ball back. Let me see your shot again. Darius moved to the top of the key, took a deep breath, and shot. Brick. Jordan watched. Try that again, he said. But keep your elbow in. And don't hold your breath when you shoot. Let it flow. The kid tried again. Missed, but closer. They went on like that for 10 minutes. Jordan gave light pointers, nothing too serious. The kid listened, adjusted, tried again. Every time he missed, he didn't complain, just moved to get the ball and reset. Jordan started to ask more. Where's your family tonight? Mom's working. Double shift. Nurse. No dad? Never met him. MJ nodded. He didn't press. Why aren't you with your family? The boy asked suddenly. Jordan paused. Sometimes, even when you've got everything, you still feel like you're missing something. Darius looked confused but didn't ask further. Jordan's phone buzzed in his pocket. He ignored it. Probably a dozen people wondering where he was. He didn't care. You know, MJ said, when I was your age, I almost quit basketball. No way. Dead serious. Thought I wasn't good enough. Too small. Too soft. Got cut from the team. What happened? Jordan looked around the court. Same thing that's happening now. One cold night. One messed up ball. And one reason to keep going. Darius grinned. You're gonna make me cry, man. Jordan laughed. Nothing wrong with that. In the distance, headlights cut through the street. A beat-up sedan pulled up, and a woman stepped out, clearly frazzled. Darius, she shouted. You scared me half to death. The boy ran over. I was just practicing. She looked over and saw Jordan. Her eyes narrowed. Who are you? Before he could speak, Darius said, Mom, it's Michael Jordan. She gave a tired, skeptical glance. Yeah, and I'm Oprah. Jordan just smiled. It's okay. He's a good kid. She took Darius's hand. Let's go. It's freezing. The kid looked back at MJ. Thanks for everything. Jordan nodded once. They drove off. The court fell silent again. The frost deepened. The wind picked up. Jordan looked down. The torn basketball was still on the court, left behind. He picked it up and held it like it meant something. Michael stood alone on the court, holding the torn ball. The cold didn't bother him anymore. He turned it over in his hands. The seams were splitting. It barely held air. But it was real. It meant something. It reminded him of who he used to be before the cameras, before the shoes, before the titles. He sat on the cold bench. For a moment, he didn't move. Then he pulled out his phone and checked the time. Missed calls. Texts. His agent, his assistant, someone from the event asking, "Are you still coming?" He locked the screen and looked out at the court again. That kid, Darius, he had something. Not just in his game, but in his eyes. The way he played through the cold, through bad bounces, through a ball that should have been in the trash a year ago. It wasn't just love for the game. It was survival. He hadn't meant to stay long. Just a quick drive to clear his head. But something in Darius stirred up everything. The doubt. The pain. The choice to keep playing when the world said, "Don't bother." The next morning, MJ woke early. He didn't bother with breakfast. He couldn't stop thinking about that moment the boy's mom pulled him away, like she was used to fending off the world. She didn't recognize him, didn't care about status or fame. Just saw a stranger talking to her son and reacted like a mom should. Still, her words stuck. Dreams don't pay rent. He'd heard versions of that his whole life. Jordan threw on a hoodie and headed out. First stop was the park. Empty again. No Darius. Just Frost and silence. He placed the torn basketball back at the edge of the court where the boy had left it. Then he got in the car and drove. He found the school. A small, worn-down building just a few blocks away. It was closed for break, but the sign out front had the name. He made a call. Then another. Eventually, he got through to someone who had access to local after-school program records. Basketball lists. He got a last name. Turner. Next, he found the mom's workplace, St. Mary's Community Hospital. It was mid-morning when he walked in. No press. No entourage. Just MJ, wearing a plain coat, looking like any regular guy. He waited at the front desk. When she finally came down, she had a tired look, eyes sunken from a night shift. She froze when she saw him. This time, recognition clicked. "Oh my God," she said. Jordan smiled. "Hey." She crossed her arms, uncertain. "Is this about last night?" "Yes. But not how you think." She didn't respond. "I didn't mean to scare you or overstep. I was just driving and saw your son playing. Reminded me of myself. I wanted to help." She hesitated. "Help how?" "He's got fire. Real fire. And he's trying to teach himself out there in the cold. I don't see that often." "Not like that." Her voice softened a little. "He's obsessed with basketball. It's the only thing that makes him forget we don't have much." Michael nodded. "I get it." "You do?" He looked her in the eyes. "I remember my mom working overtime. I remember sitting at the table doing homework with the lights dimmed to save electricity. I remember being told I wasn't good enough and thinking maybe they were right." She lowered her eyes. "I don't want to promise anything. I just want to offer something." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter and a flyer for a youth training camp. Private. Fully covered. Travel included. Endorsed by Jordan himself. She looked up. "Why him?" "Because he didn't walk off the court." She blinked fast, trying not to cry in front of a stranger. "You don't owe me anything," he said. "You don't even have to say yes now. Just think about it." She looked at the letter, then back at him. "He's going to freak out." Michael chuckled. "Good. Let him." As he left the hospital, the cold hit him again. But this time, it didn't sting. That night, Darius was back on the court. He hadn't expected MJ to return, but there he was, standing by the bench, tossing the torn ball in the air. Darius froze again, like he was afraid it had all been a dream. "You're back," he said. "Thought you might be too." Darius ran over. "My mom showed me the paper. The camp thing. Is that for real?" "Only if you want it to be." "I do. I really do." Jordan tossed him a new ball, brand new, deep orange, with his logo stitched into the side. Darius held it like it was gold. "I don't even know what to say," he whispered. "Just keep playing." Darius nodded. "You gonna coach me now?" "Not tonight," Jordan said. "Tonight, I just want to see you shoot." The boy stepped to the top of the key. Took a breath. Released. Swish. MJ nodded with a proud grin. "Now you're talking." They played for nearly an hour. Light shooting. Passing drills. Footwork basics. MJ gave subtle corrections. Darius soaked it all up like a sponge. He never got tired, never lost focus. At the end, as the night set in, Darius looked up and asked, "You really almost gave up?" Jordan looked at him. "Yeah. I had nights like this, when I thought no one saw me. Nights when quitting felt easier than trying again. But the thing is, if I'd quit, I'd never have known how far I could go." Darius looked down at the ball. "I don't want to quit either. Then don't. Jordan stood and looked around the court. You know what this place is? What? This is where it starts. Not the big arenas. Not the trophies. It starts right here. In the cold. When no one's watching. That's where greatness begins. Darius didn't respond. He just nodded, understanding more than most kids his age could. Jordan turned to leave. I'll be in touch. Your mom's got the details. And I'll be watching. Darius smiled wide. Thank you. Michael raised a hand without turning back. The wind picked up behind him as he walked away. And in the silence, one shot echoed again. Swish. 2 years later. The court looked different now. New lines. New rim. Even a net. Still the same old patchy cement underneath, but the bones were solid. The neighborhood had pitched in, and Jordan had quietly covered most of the rest. No ceremony. No press. Just a better place to play. But tonight, it was empty again. Michael parked across the street and stepped out. He didn't have to be here. He'd already given enough. But something about this court kept calling him back, especially on nights like this. Cold. Quiet. Christmas Eve. He walked up to the sideline. The same place he'd stood when he first saw Darius 2 years ago. Back then, the kid had been a bundle of hunger and loneliness, fighting the cold with a half-dead basketball and no one watching. Now he was a different story. Jordan glanced at the plaque bolted into the fence. It was small. Humble. It read, "For the kid who kept showing up. MJ." He smiled. That was enough. From behind, a voice called out, "Thought you might come." He turned. Darius stood near the baseline, taller now, broader. His walk had confidence in it, not arrogance. Just purpose. He held the same new ball MJ had given him that night, worn now, but still in good shape. "I almost stayed in tonight," Darius said, walking over. "Mom made dinner. First time she had the night off in months." "She doing okay?" "Yeah. Better. They promoted her. She runs the shift now." "That's good." They sat down on the bench. Silence hung between them for a while, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind that came from understanding. "You nervous?" MJ asked. Darius shrugged. "Little bit. You'll be fine." "I don't know if I'm ready." Jordan looked at him. "You are. You've earned every second of what's coming." Darius nodded. Camp changed everything. Coaches, mentors, better gear. And I never stopped training. Even on days I hated it. I remembered what you said. "What's that?" "This is where it starts. When no one's watching." Jordan nodded. "And that thing you told my mom," Darius continued, "about me not walking off the court. I think about that a lot. She didn't want to believe in a dream that might break her son. But it didn't break me," Darius said. "No," Jordan said. "It shaped you." Darius looked down at the ball. "Got one more shot in me." He stood up, dribbled out to the three-point line, squared up, and launched. Swish. Jordan smiled. "Nice touch. I've been practicing." They walked back to the car together. On the way, Darius glanced over. "Can I ask you something?" "Go ahead." "Did you ever think you weren't good enough? Like, even after you made it?" Jordan looked forward. "Yeah. More times than I can count. People don't talk about that part. They just see the rings, the highlights. But the doubt's always there. The question is what you do with it." Darius nodded. "I think I get that now." They stopped at the curb. "Tomorrow's the start," MJ said. "Big stage. All eyes on you." "I know. You ready to carry it?" I've carried worse. Jordan looked proud. Good answer. They shook hands. Not a coach and a student. Not a legend and a fan. Just two people who understood each other. I'll be watching, Jordan said. Front row? Wouldn't miss it. The next day, the gym was packed. A high school invitational showcase, some of the top talent from around the country. Coaches. Scouts. Cameras. Noise. Darius stood in the tunnel, breathing steady. His team was behind him. Jerseys clean. Shoes squeaking. This was their moment. He stepped out first. Cheers rose up. He didn't react. Didn't need to. He'd played in silence. He'd learned in the cold. Now it was time to show them. From the stands, Jordan sat with a calm expression. No VIP section. No spotlight. Just a seat where he could see everything. The game began. Fast-paced. Physical. Darius took a hit early, got up fast. Next possession, he drove hard, finished through contact. The crowd exploded. By halftime, he led all scorers. In the fourth, with seconds left and the game tied, his team had one last possession. Timeout. The coach drew up a play. But everyone knew who was taking the shot. Back on court, the ball was inbound. Darius took it at the top. Clock ticking. One defender, then two. He didn't rush. One crossover. Step back. Fade. Release. Time froze. Swish. Game. The place erupted. Cameras flashed. Teammates stormed the court. But Darius only looked up to one place. MJ gave him a slow nod. One that said, I saw you. I always did. Later that night, in the locker room, reporters swarmed him. One leaned in. Darius, people are calling you the next big thing. Where did it all start for you? He thought for a second. Then answered. On Christmas Eve. Alone. On a cracked court with a ball that barely bounced. The reporter blinked. Seriously? He smiled. That night changed everything. A week later, his story made headlines. From the frost to the flame, how one night with Michael Jordan lit a fire in a forgotten kid. But Darius didn't care about the attention. He kept showing up. Kept working. Kept remembering where he came from. And every Christmas Eve, no matter where he was, he found a court. Just to remind himself what it means to never walk off.